Welcome back, everybody. First of all, many thanks to all the new subscribers, and much appreciated. And at this juncture, if you'd like to hit the thumbs up, give us a thumbs up, much appreciated. There's not many. I don't think it's going to set the world on fire, but a thumbs up would be much appreciated. So in this one, this little video, what we're going to do, we're going to try and do anyway, excuse me, is shoehorn. I've got a bit of extrusion here. Many years ago I bought lengths of this and chopped it up into, I think it was 320 long pieces, and I made up had some chassis made for a shoebox size enclosure, and that would slide in there. But I've used up all of these now. This is an offcut. This is the end of the roll, or end of the piece, and this is the last chassis. And what I'm going to do is cut this off, bend this up, so that this chassis will fit into this case. And what I'm going to try and do is shoehorn, just a little project, something a bit different. These are the Hypex electronics. These are the 180 modules, Ucd180. These are the SDs. These are the very early ones. I mean, nowadays they come with regulators on for the front end here, but this is just a project. This is I think it's going to be used in a bottom end system, active system, ultimately. So I already had these, and Hypex do a kit, Ucd180st 400x2, which consists of lots of parts actually. I've opened it but I haven't emptied it yet, so let's have a look, see what we got in here. Bit of chaff. Let me move this up a bit. And what this enables us to do, blimey, is connect one power supply to two of these boards. Let me just carry on decanting all this. We've got some XLRs, some female XLR connectors, very good quality. This is not plastic, this is cast aluminium, very good quality indeed. To connect to your input to these. You don't have to use XLRs, you can use phonos, and indeed I will be using phonos, I think, because I haven't got enough room to get this. Well, I think I might have, yeah, I might have, to get two XLRs on the back of this panel, and they stick in a bit. We'll have a look at that. I may not be using those, but you could use phonos if you like. You don't have to use XLRs, they just come in this kit. And as I say, with this kit, blimey, that looks like speaker connections to me. Two XLRs. There's a jumper there. This jumper is to jump the power supply. I'll open this power supply box in a second. That's to jump from 240 to 115 volts AC, mains in. Oh, I see. Right, yes, I see. So what I'm going to do is run through everything that you need to know on how to do this. As I say, it's one power supply, which is the SMPS 400A180 I am using. You can use a 400 as well. There's a 400, so you can use two 400 modules like this, slightly larger. I'm using the 180, so I can use two 180s with this power supply. let's decant all this. So we end up with a 180 watt power amplifier class D. I remember building this up years ago. I was quite impressed. I mean, that was 15 years ago or so. Must have been 15 years ago that I built up this Hypex amp. Pretty soon they brought out the regulated front end version, and there's a power supply, nicely manufactured, probably built in China for them, don't know, but I think that will fit in a chassis. There's a fair bit of wiring, and you have to use this divider block or divider PCB. Yeah, it will go. That will go. Definitely. Either that way, probably that way. Yeah, I'll probably wire it up that way. So we'll have mains in here, connections. So we come off this power supply here. It's all pretty simple stuff actually, and it goes into that one there. It's dead easy. As I say, it's plug and play. So yeah, that will come off. It might come off there, I don't know. And then we have the connections to the boards. It's going to be a work in progress, but this is the intro. Sorry, I keep knocking the camera. This is the introduction. It's just a quickie. I've got to go and do some work on this chassis so that it'll fit in here, and then we'll come to part. Look at that, lovely. We'll power it up and see if it'll work, which is quite good. Again, I purchased this off my own bat. This is not sponsored by anybody, but I did use KJF Audio, Stefan. He's now the main importer to the UK. I'm based in the UK, and he supplied these very quickly, the bits and pieces, and all the links to this, which I'll drop in the description below. So that's a quick intro. That's what we're going to be doing. So I cut this chassis down, and I've mounted all the component parts on this chassis. Just drilled some holes in the bottom. I'll split it down. It's not refined at all. Measured and marked out, drilled, countersunk these holes. At a later date I'll weld this up with the old low temperature alley weld stick, and it's a simple matter of following the instructions. So I think the first bit I would put in, you don't have to do it in this order. This is the jumper that goes from the power supply to this splitter PCB here. So you go from there to here, and it is literally a simple matter of plugging this in like that. I'm working around this camera, so I apologise if everything gets in the way. Simple as that. So that's the power supply to this jumper board, and now we can connect up this black and white one is some type of sensor, I don't know what, but this one goes from here. Maybe get me pliers on that and just push him in. There we go. So that one goes from there to the one on this end of this splitter board. It is a little bit fiddly, especially I'm working with this camera. I'm sorry if I knock it. And that one goes on this end. Simple as that. Make sure they're both in, yes, nicely snug. So I don't know what that one does. It's J4, but that's in situ. And as I said earlier, there's a PDF document that outlines exactly how to do this step by step by step. So this is the power supply to this amp module, and on this amp module, I'm hoping you'll be able to see it, we've got a positive, negative and a ground. So the positive is the red, blue is the negative, and the black is the ground. So I'll just use my pliers just to nip them in. Just like that. So that's this board powered up as it would be. So we now have some outputs. Now we'll do those in a minute. I think we'll carry on and do the next board, power supply to that board, to the next board. So you just plug them in there, click, same again, double check, positive, negative, ground. Positive is red, blue is negative, and the black is the ground, or 0 volts if you like. This is 46 volt power supply, plus and minus. There we go. We've got some other sensing leads, but they're on some other bits and pieces. I'll connect up the mains input now. So the mains input goes in here, and we literally just drop that in there, click, and we have some spade connectors. Red is on this, in this occasion it's the bottom one, I know, which is mains in, and that's a neutral, like that. What we got? We got some signal cabling. And these are tethered together with a bit of sensing. I don't know what that's for. I think that senses when you have a signal. It nulls the amp if there's nothing coming in. It nullifies the amp so it won't play. It actually sort of switches it off, I think. I could be corrected on that. But these just literally just clip on there. Simple as that. And this one will just clip in there. It's as simple as ABC. That one goes on there, and it just so happens that this 3 pin, although 2 pins are only used, goes in here. So we just line him up, push him in like that, tuck these out the way, and we've got some speaker outs, or the output of the device. So we look here, and it says plus and minus. The plus is the red, the blue is the minus. So we connect those up like that. Probably the wrong way around. It'd be easier to go the other way, wouldn't it? All these out, put it in that way. Ooh. Double check. Positive is the red. I think this is the little flying sensor lead is the DC offset sensing. And that's all on board on the power supply. Does it all for you. These are a very nice snug fit, I have to say. There we go. So we're going to go around there. And again, that's the positive. This is the negative. Ooh. And we've got a sensor here, which goes on the end of this PCB. Just drops in there like that. And these, I've made these, this is a complete no solder jobby. On the end of these speaker terminals, bonding posts, I've actually wound on some block connectors, so I don't have to use any solder, and the whole thing goes together with no heat and dry, I suppose you could call it. It's a dry build. We just wind those up nice and neatly, just neatly nip them up. Like that. Do the other one. So I'm just making sure everything's tucked in out of the way. I'm just going to use some zip ties to tidy that up. Again, they tell you to do so in the actual build manual. In the build manual there's a link down below. Suppose I could, let me do that again. I could encapsulate that one as well, couldn't I? Yeah, just boom, there we go. So the whole thing's nice and neat. Out the way. So our inputs are in, outputs are in, power supply done, all wired up, connected up. And the one you've got to watch out for is this one here, this jumper back here. We're running 240 volts, I'm in the UK, or 230 volts. If you are elsewhere and you're running 115, you have to just drop that in there, short that out. But we don't have to do that. It also comes with another lead, so if you're using a separate switch, and a separate fuse unit, you would run your switch from there to there. And there's also an additional earthing strap. One of the first things I do with a build, I always put an earthing strap to ground, so the earth is the chassis to ground. And in this case, you've got a steel connection from the screen on the board strapped through here. This is a steel or brass nickel plated standoff, and that's strapped to the bottom of the case under here. Hope you caught that. So that's it really, it's simple as that. Nice simple little build. Give it a whirl. Neat, compact Hypex D-class amp. In actual fact, I'm going to put another zip tie on the AC mains. I think this is heat shrink that hasn't. It might be just a big piece of sleeving, but I suspect this is heat sink. This black covering, sleeving, and I haven't applied any heat. That's better. It keeps it off the power supply. There we go, it's all clear. I'm just double checking everything's plugged in, because I'm going to go and power this now and have a listen. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I'm just going to put some power on this. The other thing of note, the fuse is a 5 amp slow blow. I haven't got any 5, I've only got 4s, so this may not power up. It might blow the fuse, but let's see. Hands out the way, don't touch anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we have a blue LED. So it's powered up, it's all fine, there's nothing, no smoke. That's fine. I could put a boot on here, there's AC here, so I've got a rubber boot, but I will put on. So we got blue LEDs on both the amp modules. Yeah. So that's a good to go, I think. I'm just going to check. I haven't used these, as I said, for 10 years. At least 10 years, maybe even 15. It's been a very, very long time. I'm just going to check the DC offset on these, just to see. And I've got... Oh, get on. Well, it's zeroing out, and it's trying to zero all the time. So as near as damn it, 0 on that one. Let's see what we got on this one. As near as damn. Oh, get on. Floating about a bit. 3 thereabouts, about 3 millivolts. So that's very good, isn't it? So that's a good shout. So I've checked that. I'm going to power off. We're going to go and have a listen. So in the meantime, I'll just show you these leads. I made up some leads. I haven't got balanced inputs on any of my kit. I've only got these Phono RCAs. But all you do, you would normally solder that. There's the hot in the middle where you're positive, and there's a little negative pin there. So there's a positive and a negative. Pin 2 on an XLR is the positive or the hot, and to be able to use RCAs and phonos, you link out pin 3 and 1. You just short them out, which I've done in the back of here, and that enables you to use just a normal phono output straight into here. So I'll be back. So I'm just going to slide this into its case. There, lovely. Spin it over, line up the holes for the feet. Some rubber feet with I think they're M5 screws I've tapped in. I had to make this one a little bit oval to give me a bit of wiggle room. So there it is, and I've got some covering downstairs and I'll do that later, but for now let's just have a listen. I'll be back. So sorry about the poor light at this end of the workshop. So I've just thrown this together with my test setup, if you like, which is a bit of name preamp. Excuse me, my little open baffles. Let's give it a power up and see what happens. There's a 5-second delay. There we go. Excellent.
Tomorrow then, Duba is on at 4
AM. Local radio, BBC. Let's put a bit of something else on. This is just a Denon player. I'll use as a source. Well, I'm quite impressed. From cold, that's quite good. And that's the old boards. There's a slight, if you like, up front leading edge, if you like, a little touch of hardness at the top end. I don't know if you can hear it. I can, but I could live with that in reality. So I've just got to finish it, and we'll come back once I've done that. So there it is. I've wrapped a bit of covering on it. This is just a bit of vinyl. It's a textured vinyl, sticky back plastic as it used to be called, just to tidy it up, take some of that nastiness away, that industrial finish. Although a lot of people like this steampunk look, don't they? Reminiscent of the chrome bumper name equipment. But it works well, neat and tidy. Absolutely ideal for my application, and it's an easy build, not too expensive, lots and lots of information on the internet about it. So that completes this little build, this little project. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for all your subscriptions and your thumbs up. This is Laverda, the implementer, signing out for now, and there'll be another one coming along, another video coming along shortly. Keep well, keep safe. Bye.